The Dallas Mavericks are quietly building something that could shake the entire NBA. But it's not Luka Doncic or Kyrie Irving making the headlines this time. It's Quentin Grimes. Yes, the same player you likely overlooked, who's becoming a hidden weapon capable of transforming the Mavs season. His recent performances have exposed a terrifying truth. The Mavericks may have found the key to dominating both ends of the court. Stick around because what we're about to reveal could change how you see the Mavericks forever. Quentin Grimes came to Dallas without much fanfare. Known in New York as a solid 3-and-D role player, Grimes wasn't expected to become a major factor. But something changed when he arrived in Dallas. The system, the coaching, and the opportunities have unlocked a version of Grimes that no one saw coming. In his last 3 games, Grimes has averaged 24.3 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals, while shooting a blistering 53% from beyond the arc. For context, these aren't just good stats for a role player. They're elite numbers that put him in conversations with some of the league's best two-way players. Therefore, Grimes isn't just a nice addition anymore. He's turning into a cornerstone for the Mavericks' success. What sets Grimes apart isn't just his scoring, it's his defense. His lateral quickness, anticipation, and ability to navigate screens make him one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA right now. Grimes is currently ranked 7th in the league for ball screen navigation. This means he can predict and counter offensive moves before they even happen. For example, in a recent game, Grimes anticipated a screen from DeAndre Ayton, timed his steal perfectly, and turned it into an easy transition bucket. But it's not just about stats. It's how Grimes uses his defensive skills to disrupt opponents' rhythm. Mavericks coach Jason Kidd even said, "He's one of the best defenders we've had, especially on pick and rolls." This level of trust from Kidd explains why Grimes leads the team in plus-minus, a stat that measures a player's overall impact on the game. Grimes credits his time with the New York Knicks, specifically under coach Tom Thibodeau, for shaping his defensive mindset. In a recent interview, Grimes said, "Coach Thibs gave me the toughest assignments early in my career, guarding all-stars and superstars. That taught me how to stay locked in every possession. This defensive pedigree is now paying dividends in Dallas. But his time in New York also instilled a toughness and physicality that sets him apart from other guards. When opponents try to post him up, Grimes doesn't just hold his ground, he thrives in those moments. Defense might be Grimes' calling card, but his offensive evolution is what's turning heads. Playing alongside high-gravity players like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving has opened up the floor for him. For instance, when Luka drives into the paint and draws double teams, Grimes is left wide open on the perimeter, and he's capitalizing on those opportunities, shooting 41% from 3 this season, an impressive jump from last year's 36%. But Grimes isn't just a catch-and-shoot player. He's added physicality and patience to his offensive game. One highlight play against Karl Anthony Towns showed Grimes driving in transition, bumping a bigger defender off balance, and finishing with a smooth layup. This combination of finesse and strength is making him a nightmare to guard. What most people overlook about Grimes is his emerging playmaking ability. In one play, Grimes received a pass in the corner, but recognized the defensive mismatch. Instead of forcing a contested shot, he drove into the lane and dished it to Daniel Gafford for an easy and one. Moments like these show that Grimes isn't just a scorer or a defender. He's becoming a complete player. His ability to make smart decisions under pressure adds another layer to the Mavericks' offense. Grimes' breakout isn't happening by accident. The Mavericks system under Jason Kidd is tailor-made for a player with his skill set. Kidd's philosophy emphasizes spacing, ball movement, and defense, 3 areas where Grimes excels. According to Kidd, Grimes understands the game at a high level. He's physical, smart, and unselfish. Playing with Luka and Kyrie gives him opportunities to shine, and he's making the most of it. But there's another reason Grimes is thriving: confidence. When a player feels trusted by their coach and teammates, it can elevate their performance. Grimes is playing with a swagger that shows he knows he belongs on the big stage. With Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving leading the offense, the Mavericks needed a defensive anchor and a reliable third option. Grimes is filling that role perfectly. His ability to guard multiple positions, knock down shots, and make plays in transition gives the Mavericks a dynamic weapon they've been missing. Therefore, Grimes isn't just a role player anymore, he's a game changer. And as the playoffs approach, his impact will only grow. What's even scarier is that Grimes is just scratching the surface of his potential. His defensive instincts combined with his improved shooting and playmaking suggest he could become one of the league's best two-way players in the coming years. But there's one thing holding him back: consistency. If Grimes can maintain this level of play throughout the season, the Mavericks could emerge as serious contenders in the Western Conference. Looking ahead, the Mavericks front office has to be thrilled with Grimes' development. Players like him are hard to find. Someone who can lock down opponents on defense while also contributing on offense. But the real question is, can the Mavericks capitalize on this momentum? With Luka and Kyrie commanding attention, Grimes could be the X factor that pushes this team over the top. So is Quentin Grimes the missing piece the Mavericks need to contend for a championship? Or will he become just another promising player who couldn't sustain his breakout? One thing's for sure, the Mavericks have been hiding a monster, and the rest of the NBA is about to find out. The only question is whether it's already too late to stop him. The Dallas Mavericks are no strangers to adversity. After losing the NBA Finals last year and stumbling out of the gate this season, most people were ready to count them out. But now, the Mavericks have gone on a jaw-dropping win streak, proving they're not just back, they're better than ever. They've clawed their way to the knockout rounds of the NBA Cup, showing grit, determination, and a level of teamwork that's nothing short of extraordinary. The way they're playing right now should terrify the rest of the league. Stick around, because what we're about to break down could change how you see the Mavericks this season. It's easy to look at the Mavericks and credit their superstars, Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, for their success. But that's not the full story. This team has found ways to win even when key players have been out. The most recent example? A 15-point comeback victory in the fourth quarter to keep their NBA Cup dreams alive. And here's the kicker. This win didn't just push them through to the next round. It knocked out one of their biggest rivals, the Phoenix Suns. The Suns, who have consistently been a thorn in the Mavericks' side, were eliminated in a game that showcased everything the Mavericks are doing right this season. So how do you pull off a 15-point comeback in a must-win game? It all starts with team basketball. This isn't just about individual brilliance. It's about players knowing their roles and executing them to perfection. Take this play, for example. After a missed shot by the Memphis Grizzlies, Luka Doncic grabbed the rebound and immediately launched a full-court pass that looked more like something you'd see in an NFL game. Spencer Dinwiddie caught it, handed it off to Daniel Gafford, and Gafford finished at the rim with authority. That single play set the tone for the comeback and showed why this Mavericks team is so dangerous. But Gafford wasn't just making plays on offense. He was the anchor on defense as well. In one critical moment, he disrupted a drive by Memphis's Jake LaRavia, poking the ball loose and sparking a transition opportunity. This led to a wide-open three-pointer for PJ Washington on the other end. Plays like these don't just get you back into games. They energize the entire team. And when you're down double digits in the fourth quarter, that energy can make all the difference. With the deficit cut to 8 points, the Mavericks needed a closer. Enter Luka Doncic. Facing Defensive Player of the Year Marcus Smart, Luka calmly came to a stop, hit his signature step-back three-pointer, and brought the Mavericks within 6. It's moments like these that remind you why Luka is one of the most clutch players in the league. But it wasn't just Luka doing the heavy lifting. Spencer Dinwiddie, a player who left Dallas for a stint with the Lakers before returning, stepped up in a massive way. He hit a pull-up three in transition to give the Mavericks their first lead of the game. Moments later, with Kyrie Irving driving into the paint and drawing multiple defenders, Dinwiddie found himself open on the perimeter again. He didn't hesitate, knocking down another clutch three to extend the lead. Therefore, it's clear that this Mavericks team isn't just relying on its stars. Role players like Dinwiddie, PJ Washington, and Daniel Gafford are stepping up in ways that make this team incredibly hard to beat. Even when Klay Thompson struggled with just 4 points, the Mavericks found ways to win. That depth is what separates good teams from great ones, and right now, the Mavericks are looking like a great team. One of the most exciting developments for Dallas has been the emergence of 20-year-old center Derek Lively. Starting over Gafford in recent games, Lively has been a revelation. He's averaging 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game, providing a defensive presence and transition threat that the Mavericks haven't had in years. His ability to run the floor and finish emphatically at the rim has added a new dimension to their offense. But what's even more intriguing is how Dallas is using Lively as a playmaking hub. By giving him the ball at the top of the key and allowing players like Klay Thompson and Luka Doncic to move off the ball, the Mavericks are unlocking creative ways to score. However, this success didn't happen overnight. The Mavericks' path to the NBA Cup has been a grind. They've had to adjust on the fly, deal with injuries, and integrate new players like Najee Marshall. And while Marshall's contributions often fly under the radar, he's been crucial in key moments. Over a 4-game stretch, he averaged over 20 points per game while playing elite defense. His ability to guard the opposing team's best player and still contribute offensively makes him one of the Mavericks' most versatile weapons. But perhaps the biggest question surrounding this team is Klay Thompson. Limited to just 20 minutes in a recent game, Klay's impact has been inconsistent. Some are even wondering if the Mavericks are better without him. Players like Spencer Dinwiddie and Quentin Grimes have flourished in his absence, leading to speculation about what role Klay will play moving forward. Therefore, the Mavericks face an interesting dilemma. Can Klay find his groove and become the player they need him to be? Or will his role continue to diminish as others step up? What's undeniable is that this Mavericks team has transformed in a matter of weeks. They've climbed from 12th to 3rd in the Western Conference in just 18 days, proving that they're not just surviving, they're thriving. And while there are still questions about sustainability, one thing is clear: this team is built to compete. As the NBA Cup progresses, the Mavericks' depth and adaptability will be their greatest strengths. Players like PJ Washington, Derek Lively, and Najee Marshall are proving that they can handle high-pressure situations, which is exactly what you need in a tournament setting. And with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving leading the charge, the Mavericks have the star power to finish the job. So can the Mavericks sustain this level of play and cement themselves as legitimate contenders? Or will the challenges of a long season catch up with them? What we've seen so far suggests that this team isn't just here to participate, they're here to win. But the road ahead won't be easy, and the margin for error is slim. One thing is certain: the Dallas Mavericks have arrived. They're no longer a team with potential, they're a team that's making it happen. And as the rest of the league scrambles to keep up, the Mavericks are showing that they're not just here to compete, they're here to dominate. Imagine this: Luka Doncic goes down, and the Dallas Mavericks are in desperate need of a spark. The team could have crumbled, but that's not what happened. Instead, Kyrie Irving stepped up, not just as a leader, but as a one-of-a-kind player who's rewriting the rules of modern basketball. Whether he's dazzling defenders on the court or turning isolation plays into easy points, Kyrie has become a problem for the rest of the league. And what's even scarier is that this isn't the Kyrie Irving you thought you knew. Dallas has unlocked a completely different version of him, and the NBA should be terrified. Kyrie Irving has always been known for his handles, his creativity, and his ability to hit impossible shots. But under Jason Kidd's system, Kyrie has reached a new level of efficiency. His isolation plays are practically automatic, with Kyrie converting on a jaw-dropping 58% of them. For context, most elite scorers don't even crack 50% in isolation. But Kyrie? He's not just scoring, he's doing it with ease. This all starts with Kyrie's mastery of the triple threat position. While most players use it as a basic setup, Kyrie turns it into a weapon. Picture this: Kyrie catches the ball in the mid-range, and his defender is glued to him. Instead of over-dribbling, Kyrie throws a simple jab step. The defender backs off just enough, and Kyrie uses that space to nail a perfect mid-range jumper. That's the beauty of his game. It's simple, yet devastatingly effective. But Kyrie doesn't just stop at the first jab step. He uses it to set up even more dangerous plays. In one sequence, Kyrie tested his defender with a quick jab, then faked another before driving into the paint for a floater. Moves like these keep defenders guessing, and when they finally react, it's already too late. Therefore, Kyrie's triple threat game isn't just about scoring, it's about control. He's dictating the pace, the spacing, and the outcome of every possession. Now let's talk about Kyrie's off-ball movement. Most people think of Kyrie as a ball-dominant guard, but in Dallas, he's showing a completely different side of his game. Off the ball, Kyrie is just as lethal. Take this play, for example. Kyrie cuts into the paint, seals his defender behind him, and catches a pass from Daniel Gafford mid-air. Without even landing, he finishes the play with an N1 bucket. His timing, IQ, and concentration in these moments are second to none. But Kyrie's cutting isn't just about flashy plays. It's about exploiting weaknesses in the defense. On one possession, Kyrie noticed that his defender was trailing behind. Instead of jogging up the floor, Kyrie darted into the empty paint. Maxi Kleber set a perfect seal, and Kyrie finished with an uncontested layup. Plays like these show how Kyrie is using his basketball IQ to create easy scoring opportunities without having to dominate the ball. Jason Kidd deserves credit here too. Kidd has been using Kyrie in ways that maximize his strengths while minimizing his workload. For example, Kidd often positions Kyrie as a screener in pick-and-roll actions. At first glance, this might seem unusual for a superstar guard, but the genius lies in the unpredictability. Opposing defenses focus on the ball handler, only to watch Kyrie slip the screen, cut into the paint, and finish at the rim. Therefore, Kyrie's role as a screener adds another layer of complexity to the Mavericks offense. However, this evolution in Kyrie's game doesn't mean he stopped being the dynamic playmaker we all know. When Kyrie does have the ball, it's an absolute show. Whether he's hitting defenders with a hesitation move or threading the needle on a pass, Kyrie's ability to create is unmatched. In fact, he ranks third in the NBA in points per possession on pick-and-roll plays, averaging 1.14 points. This combination of scoring and playmaking makes him nearly impossible to defend. But here's where things get really interesting. The Mavericks have taken some of the playmaking responsibilities off Kyrie's shoulders, allowing him to focus more on scoring. Players like Spencer Dinwiddie have stepped up as secondary ball handlers, freeing Kyrie to operate off the ball. On one possession, Dinwiddie initiated the offense while Kyrie ran through a series of screens. The result? A wide-open three-pointer for Kyrie, made possible by his teammates' efforts. This shift in responsibilities has made Kyrie more efficient, but it's also elevated the entire team. Dinwiddie, for example, has flourished in his new role, averaging career-high numbers in assists and scoring. And when Luka returns to full health, the Mavericks will have three elite playmakers sharing the court. Therefore, the team's ceiling is higher than ever. But let's not forget about the moments when Kyrie takes over. In a recent game against the Washington Wizards, Kyrie dropped 25 points while making it look effortless. After the game, a Wizards player described the experience of guarding Kyrie as unreal. He said, "You don't even have time to think. He's coming at you the next play." This quote perfectly captures the chaos Kyrie creates on the court. Whether he's setting screens, running pick and rolls, or spotting up in the corner, Kyrie's unpredictability keeps defenses on their heels. And it's not just Kyrie who benefits from this chaos. His presence creates opportunities for everyone around him. Take Spencer Dinwiddie again. When Kyrie and Luka are on the floor, they attract so much defensive attention that Dinwiddie often finds himself with wide-open looks. This gravitational pull isn't just a bonus, it's a game changer. Therefore, Kyrie's impact goes beyond his individual stats. He's making his teammates better, and that's what great players do. But are we really seeing a new Kyrie Irving? The answer is yes. This version of Kyrie is more efficient, more versatile, and more dangerous than ever before. By taking some of the workload off his shoulders, the Mavericks have unlocked a player who can dominate without having to do everything himself. And with Jason Kidd's innovative coaching, Kyrie is thriving in ways we've never seen. So what does this mean for the Mavericks? Simply put, they're contenders. With Luka, Kyrie, and a supporting cast that knows their roles, this team has the tools to compete with anyone. But the real question is whether they can sustain this level of play over an entire season. The early signs are promising, but the NBA is a marathon, not a sprint. One thing is certain, though. Kyrie Irving has unlocked a new level of greatness, and the rest of the league should take notice. Whether he's breaking ankles with his triple threat moves or cutting through defenses like a surgeon, Kyrie is showing why he's one of the most unique talents in NBA history. And with the Mavericks fully embracing his strengths, this could be the beginning of something special. So are the Mavericks finally putting it all together? Or is this just a glimpse of what they're capable of? One thing's for sure, this team and this version of Kyrie Irving isn't going away anytime soon.
This is the most shocking trade in NBA history.
This got to be the biggest trade I've seen since I've been in the league, or since I've been watching the sport. This is insane.
In the early hours of Saturday, everyone in the league, including NBA fans, got to witness the most shocking trade in NBA history. Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers and Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks. It was such a shocking news that many are still in disbelief to this very moment.
Back to our breaking news here on SportsCenter. Massive trade happening in the NBA right now. The Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. It's a three-team deal that includes Utah, according to our Shams Charania, who you might hear from later on.
Milwaukee Bucks head coach Doc Rivers thought it was an AI-generated trade because he had never seen such a trade in over 40 years in the NBA.
Just like everyone else, I thought it was AI generated. And then I found out it was real, so that's about it. I mean, it's just a shocking trade. You don't see it. I think I've seen a trade like this in my ever. Like, this is the way I would.
Los Angeles Lakers legend Magic Johnson also tweeted that this was the biggest trade he has seen in the NBA in the past 45 years. He has been associated with the league. A 25-year-old superstar in his prime for an aging defensive all-star is just not something anyone in the world saw coming, except Mavs general manager Nico Harrison and Lakers general manager Rob Pelinka.
Rob Pelinka with the Lakers, Dallas Mavericks, Nico Harrison there, doing this deal. And I'm told Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, the players, coaches, a lot of people on both sides with the Mavericks and Lakers had no idea. I can assuredly tell you it's a fact. LeBron James had no idea this was coming. Anthony Davis had no idea this was coming. I'm told Luka Doncic is still stunned about this trade.
You should know that Luka Doncic is one of 11 players in NBA history with 5+ first-team All-NBA selections within his first 6 NBA seasons. And of the 11 players, Luka is the first and only one to be traded before turning 30 years old. It was such a strange trade that by the time ESPN's Shams Charania broke the news of the trade on the internet, the entire world thought he was hacked, and NBA players were not left out. Bam Adebayo, Alex Caruso, and Tyrese Halliburton all asked if Sham got hacked on Twitter. Even Shams thought he got hacked when he got the news of the trade.
I thought my phone was hacked when I got the text messages with the details of the trade and when I got wind of the deal, but
this was actually Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal's live reaction after hearing about the trade during their game against the Trailblazers. Not even Steph Curry believed the news when he first heard it.
Are you sure? What? I know, but did he get hacked? Good or bad? Neither. Good or bad? That's real? It's real.
Anyway, fast forward to the reality that Luka has finally joined the Lakers and AD, the Mavs, and many in the league have continued to share their shock, disappointment, or have something to say about the trade. Former NBA guard Austin River called the trade the third most shocking trade he has seen in his life, after LeBron to the Miami Heat and Kevin Durant to the Golden State Warriors, before later calling the trade blasphemous because it made no sense for the Mavs to trade a young top 3 player in the league that just took his team to the NBA Finals last year Former Mavs and Lakers guard Quincy Cook was totally stunned, saying the trade made no sense. In his words, this trade meant that there is no loyalty in the league because AD helped the Lakers win a championship after a 10-year drought, and Luka just took the Mavs to their first finals since 2011, a few months back. Four-time NBA champion Draymond Green said he first heard the news from Steph, and at this very moment is still at a loss for words about the trade.
I personally was at the Warriors poker charity night when the trade went down. And Steph's 2 tables behind me. And Steph goes, Draymond, you see this? I had heard like the Warriors were looking at making some trades and all of that. So he goes, you see this? And I'm like, see what? He like to trade. I said, they did it? I'm thinking he talking about it something that just came up with us. He like, Luka and AD. I said, huh? What? I walk around this table. He showed me the phone. I'm like, is this real? I look closer like, it's from Sean. It's real. You could bet your bottom dollar. I was at a loss. I'm still at a loss for words.
Not even LeBron James believed the trade was real, and it wasn't until Luka landed in LA and he saw AD at the Mavs shoot-around that it hit him that this was true.
I was with my family at dinner and got the news, and the first time I heard it, I thought it was for sure fake. It was a hoax. People messing around, whatever. But then when AD called me, AD FaceTimed me, and I talked to him for quite a while. And even when I got off the phone with him, it still didn't seem real, and it still pretty much didn't seem real until I saw Luka today, and then I saw a clip of AD at the Dallas shoot-around. That's when it finally hit me that.
Minnesota Timberwolves shooting guard Anthony Edwards was very shocked at the possibility of who is arguably the best scorer in NBA history being traded in his prime. Edwards even confessed that he is scared that the Luka trade meant he wasn't safe.
They say that nobody knew about the trade. Yeah, so that's crazy. At 25, they traded probably the best scorer in the NBA at 25. And he didn't know about it. So it's a lot more digging somebody got to do to find out why he got traded. Because you don't just trade him at 25. He just went to the finals, you know what I'm saying? So I feel bad for Luka, man, because I saw some on YouTube that said he just bought a crib and everything in Dallas. So that sucks, man. That sucks. Everybody getting informed, yeah. I'm scared. Yeah. I'm scared. Tim, hey, if you gonna trade me, let me know, dog. When Luka got traded, anybody is able to get traded, definitely.
Two-time league MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo said he initially believed the trade was fake news, before later saying if Luka Doncic could get traded, this meant no one was safe in the NBA. I thought it was fake news. It's insane. Obviously, I played against Luka a lot of times, and AD and all the people that were included in the trade. This is the world we're living in. It's a business. You have to understand, nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. 9-time All-Star Paul George, who is also in shock about the trade, revealed that for the longest he believed Luka Doncic and Victor Wembanyama were the only 2 untradeable assets in the league. But right now, he knows for a fact that no one is safe.
No way an organization trades away a franchise player like that. A one-of-a-kind diamond in the rough. Still, I'm like, all right, no way. They just went to the finals last year. He's a walking triple-double with 30 points a night. He's a perennial superstar. Like, he'll be in this league producing for a very long time. He's only 25. It's fair for everyone to think anything can happen. Anybody's tradable. For the longest, I thought Wembanyama and Luka was probably the 2 most untradeable players in the league.
New Orleans Pelicans shooting guard CJ McCollum tweeted that if Luka could get traded, even he wasn't safe. Gotta pack them bags just in case nowadays. If the Don got traded, only Lord knows, McCollum tweeted. 3-time league MVP Nikola Jokic wasn't left out, as he had similar opinions about players in the league. According to the center, this has to be the biggest trade in NBA history, and everyone in the league should know by now that nobody is safe in the league.
It's definitely one of the biggest trades probably in, I'm not going to say in history, but let's say last 5, 10, 15 years, you know. I don't know. But it seemed like nobody's safe, and probably should be that way, you know.
Brooklyn Nets forward Zaire Williams even lost a bet, as his initial thoughts about the trade were that it was fake news.
Yeah, it was crazy. I actually lost a bet. I lost a bet with a couple of guys because I thought it was fake. So I owe about $300 to some of these guys. But yeah, it was crazy, man. It was definitely a blockbuster to say the least.
When it comes to the bet, you don't have to tell me who was it against or worth, but when you first saw it, I mean, a lot of people thought that someone's account potentially got hacked and that it wasn't real.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, Luka, I thought, you know, they were already building his statue. So, hey, man, that's the NBA for you. Nobody's safe.
In fact, in the words of two-time NBA Finals MVP, Kevin Durant, if he, Luka, can get traded, then anybody's up for grabs.
Insane, man. It's crazy. Yeah, I would have never thought Luka Doncic get traded at this age, you know, mid-season. Yeah, the NBA is a wild place, man. If he can get traded, then anybody's up, you know, for grabs, you know. So yes.
The Phoenix Suns forward said this trade was by far the biggest he has seen since he got drafted into the NBA, and even since he started watching basketball.
This got to be the biggest trade I've seen since I've been in the league, or since I've been watching the sport. This is insane.
KD's teammate and four-time NBA All-Star Devin Booker couldn't even believe it was Luka Doncic who got traded at first.
Happened here. Somebody told us on the bench. Said Luka Garza. Who got traded? You know, no shade probably.
Right to Garza, right.
The shooting guard explained that Luka, who many believed was untouchable and untradeable, goes to show that the NBA is just business and is unpredictable.
You know, I really don't know what to say about it. You know, Luka being a guy that, you know, everybody's claimed is untouchable and untradeable, and, you know, the NBA shows you again.
Right.
Just can't predict it. You know, it's a business. They're always having a conversation about you, you know, so, you know, don't think you're safe at any point.
Two-time league MVP, Steph Curry also went on to address the unpredictability of the league, saying this trade was a reminder that there are only a few in this league that can go to sleep with any type of confidence.
I expressed their surprise at the Luka trade, the Luka for AD trade. How did that one land with you?
Just because of how kind of out of blue it was without any type of hint or rumor or any kind of sign. That's, especially them coming off the finals, like, it's a reminder. Maybe only a few in this league that can go to sleep with, you know, any type of confidence, but that just, you know, still be there. It's kind of a very unique situation across the board, but I think just the idea that it happened in silence was pretty crazy. The fact that you hear a trade and everybody thinks somebody's been hacked is hilarious.
Interestingly, in all of these shocks and disbelief about no one being untouchable in the NBA, Oklahoma City Thunder's superstar Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wasn't shocked. According to the guard, he has been in a similar situation in the past and has come to understand that it's all business and nothing more.
Yeah, I learned that lesson the hard way. My first year in the NBA, I got traded out the blue, didn't see it coming. So it doesn't surprise me any more than myself getting traded a long time ago. I found out it was a business my first season, and no matter what, that will always stay with me. So it didn't like. I always say like, no matter how untouchable you think you are, you never know. There's always something out there. So that's how my mindset is, and I guess that keeps me with a little bit of an edge to make sure that I'm taking care of what I need to, so that the team that I'm with values me as much as I want them to.
Amidst all the confusion among several players in the league, Denver Nuggets forward Michael Porter Jr. thinks the whole trade is just weird and is certain something is going to come out in time to explain this strange trade.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty confused. We're still talking about it, like just how that's really possible. Just in the fact that they made the finals that last year, and it's like the only way that trade makes sense now is if they win the championship. That's the only other thing better than making the finals a year later is winning a championship. So, you know, I don't know really. I'm not sure. I've been on the floor with Luka, and obviously he's a you know, once in a generational player. And now, you know, it was just a weird thing overall. So I still feel like there's some facts that are gonna come out over time, because it just doesn't. I can't really comprehend how that really makes sense, to be honest.
Hall of Famer Charles Barkley also believes there is something we don't yet know that made this trade a necessity, and it could very well be his conditioning.
Let me tell you something. The only people know Luka Doncic is the Dallas Mavericks. Guys who've been with him for years or who are around him every day. He's a great player. He's a great player. But all us talking heads, they know something. They must know something we don't know. Because, listen, he's been hurt. Everybody complains about his conditioning. But once you give a guy 5 years, $350 million, y'all are stuck together for life.
Luka Doncic's conditioning, according to some reports, has so far been the biggest reason for this trade. The guard was rumoured to have reached up to 270 pounds, and the Dallas Mavericks were growing concerned. At 270 pounds, Luka was the 7th heaviest player in the NBA. But as absurd as those reports are, Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal has come out to say Luka's conditioning is not enough reason to trade the young superstar. According to Shaq, a fat Luka is better than 99.9% of the guards in the NBA. And if that was the reason they let the guard go, then they made a very terrible mistake.
He doesn't look out of shape to me. Like, I need to know what the term when you say out of shape, is he fat? Does he have a six-pack? Does he not have it? Like, are we talking body fat?
A lot of stories he's ballooned up to 270.
Because one of my best friends just told me fat Luka is better than 99.9% of all the guards in the game. So, you know, in shape Luka, 5 years, first team NBA. Fat Luka or this out of shape Luka, first team All NBA 5 years. So, you know, if that's the case, they let him go. Obviously, I would definitely have to blame management, because there's better ways to handle that.
Luka Doncic's conditioning had been a growing concern at the Dallas Mavericks organization for several years now, and it got to a point that fired multiple people in the organization in hopes that it would make his conditioning consistent. The Dallas Mavericks fired former Director of Player Health and Performance Casey Smith in 2023 and fired strength coach Jeremy Holsopple and manual therapist Casey Spangler after last season, all staffers that Doncic enjoyed working with. According to ESPN reports, the Mavs believed Luka's ideal weight was 245 pounds, and given that he had missed 27 games this season due to injuries, including 11 days to lose weight, the Dallas Mavericks GM, Nico Harrison, decided to trade him out. Well, the conditioning rumors have since been disproved by Luka, who publicly claimed that it wasn't true, even though he believes that it was Nico Harrison's motive to trade him. In any case, some NBA players have since come to his defense, and one of the many so far is his new teammate, Dorian Finney-Smith, who joked that if Luka can record an almost triple-double a game, then maybe he needs to be as fat as Luka.
I know him, man. He want to play the whole game. I think he played like 40 minutes every game last playoff. So that's one thing about LD. He a hooper. He want to play. So I don't really look at the noise. I look at his production, and he produces. So shit. If I'm putting up them type of numbers, maybe I need to be 270. Shit.
Maxi Kleber, who got traded alongside Luka, also said all the negative reports about Luka since the trade have been untrue and just media noises to taint the guard's image.
So there's been a lot of negative things said about Luka in the last couple of days. Just what have your reactions been to what has been said about him?
I know Luka, so I know it's true or not. And if you get to know him, and you guys will, you see how great of a person he is and how serious he takes his job and everything he does. So with stuff like that in attention, I think there's always positive and negative news that come out. But he's a very good person. He's a very hard worker. He's a very great teammate. He's, like I said, been growing over the years. He's always pushed his teammates to become better. So I have nothing but positive things to say about him. So, but yeah, I can't say it really here in front of you guys, but media is media, so stuff just happens and people want to talk. But from my side, I can only say that he's a really good person.
Anyway, away from the shocks and negative reports about him since his trade, his former teammates have also expressed their shock about the trade and wished him nothing but the best. And one of the many Mavs players to talk about the trade has been Kyrie Irving. The duo took the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA Finals just a few months back, and according to the point guard, he is still grieving the trade. But he understands that it's just business.
Imagine that you're going to get ready to go to sleep and then you find out news like that. So still a grieving process right now. Miss my hermano. We had a lot of time together. Keith too, and Maxi. And we just built some bonds that went beyond the basketball court. So if anybody can understand at home, when someone or a few group of people or a few people leave in a trade, it's going to be difficult, and that's what we're dealing with right now. But this is a business. It's way above my pay grade. I just got to adjust and be ready to welcome in my new teammates with open arms and kind of be ready to go back to Dallas too, to speak in front of our fans. I know they're feeling it too. I'm feeling it too, guys. So yeah, it's just an adjustment period, and it's
Mavs power forward Daniel Gafford also agrees that it's the business of the game, even though he confessed that it hurts and it's a tough reality for the team. Quentin Grimes, who also just got traded to the Sixers, agrees that it's business, agreeing that it hurts to see Luka get traded.
initial shock, I feel like.
You don't even really have emotions to describe it, really. You never think a player of that caliber would get traded from Dallas, but it's a business for sure. So just wish him all the best for sure.
Mavs center PJ Washington confessed that he was just as shocked as everyone, but understood that it's the business of basketball and is looking forward to their new guys.
Your reaction to it?
It surprised me. For sure I was shocked, but I think just want to wish him the best for sure. Obviously he's one of our brothers and went through the fires and the battles with him, so definitely wish the best for him. And obviously in this business it's part of it, so definitely sucks to see him leave, but excited for him, and then also excited for us to get a guy in Anthony Davis and Max Christie as well. So excited to see how they fit, and can't wait for us to get them here and get going.
Klay Thompson, who also just joined the Dallas Mavericks, noted that it's all part of the NBA, and he going to welcome AD and Christie with open arms.
I wish Luka the best. It was a joy to play with him in those 22 games we were together. But we're going to obviously welcome AD with open arms. Obviously one of the best players ever, being top 75, and this is the nature of the business. You have to be professional about all things in front of you, and I look forward to keeping the goal the same, and that's obviously to end it with our year on the wins. But it's just a part of the NBA.
In any case, this trade has also seen many in the league wondering who actually won the trade. You've got to understand that Luka teaming up with LeBron in the Lakers is bound to form a dangerous duo, plus the fact that no superstar has ever joined the Lakers in their prime and not won a championship. From Kareem to Shaq, Gasol, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, history on Luka Doncic's side. But how long would it take for him to land his first ring? Plus, does AD's addition to the Mavs guarantee a championship? Well, NBA Hall of Famers like Shaq and Charles Barkley and future Hall of Famer Carmelo Anthony all believe Mavs won this trade, at least for the immediate future.
However, I think Dallas got better of the trade for the next 2 years anyway.
The Mavs got a great Anthony Davis. So Luka's great. Anthony Davis is great. This is going to be one of the most fascinating things. And the thing is, it's going to be fascinating probably for the next 10 years. The Mavs won the trade for the immediate next three or 4 years. But the Lakers got a bright future if they put the right pieces around Luka.
We've been saying AD was the best player in the league for a long time.
Yes.
On both sides of the basketball. We can't forget that aspect of it either. Like, I think it's going to turn out to be a really, really good trade for both sides. But for what Dallas need and what Lakers needs are bigger than right now.
Right.
They needs are, hey, he's our next face of the organization. And what Dallas is getting back for Luka is actually a really, really good piece. It's a very pivotal piece to them trying to win now.
AD the type of player that you can play anyway.
AD adapts.
There's not one team that I can put AD on and say, oh, it ain't gonna work out for him. He's just that kind of player. I'm not saying who won the trade or whatever, but immediately, I think Dallas.
In the immediate future, the Dallas Mavericks seem to have a higher ceiling right now than the Lakers do.
For what it's worth, the conversation about who wins this trade could only known for a fact after one of them wins a championship. With the right pieces, they are both contenders right now, even though the Mavs definitely look scarier on paper. In any case, we all just have to watch out for how this plays out, now and in the future. Even Kevin Durant is excited to see how the trade pans out for both teams. You have Luka and LeBron, Reeves, then Kyrie, AD, Gafford. So many great players. I just can't wait to see it on the floor and hear from both of them. I know that first time talking is going to be an eventful time. If you enjoyed this video, the next video on your screen is worth your time.